Have a good night. Well, guys, the time flew, and I'm sure we could do a whole nother hour on this, and especially as people have more questions. But, Levi, real quick, what's one final thought that you'd like to leave with everyone as we wrap up our conversation on why sex is good according to God's plan?
Well, I would just, reiterate, like you've called the show tonight, that sex is good, and that, that sex isn't the problem. Like Joshua Harris wrote in his book by the same title, sex isn't the problem, lust is. Lust clouds and pollutes what sex is, and so we need to strip away what the world's added, lust, and just get back to the original invention, sex, as God intended it, and it's just killer. So.
Well, thanks so much, and Levi Lusko is going to be out here August 3rd for the O2 Experience. Again, there's more info about that at o2experience.com, and there'll be tickets available, Bibles Plus, Parchments, and Chronicles during the regular work week if you want to get tickets for that. And you can even get a group discount, so you might want to bring out your youth group for this and hear more about this topic. And Jason Garcia, what would you like to part with everyone as we wrap things up tonight?
I will, since Levi covered it pretty well, I'll just address maybe the parents of youth out there in Albuquerque or in the state of New Mexico. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to talk to your students or your kids about sex, because here's the honest truth. If you don't talk to your students about sex, the world's going to talk to your students about sex, and the truth is that sex is great. It's the first thing God told Adam and Eve to do is to have sex. 2 books in the Bible are about love and sex, and that Song of Solomon, the book of Ruth, is a love story. So it's interwoven into the Bible, and for us to take it away from God sharing it to them and allowing the TV or the media to share what sex is to them, I think is one of the biggest problems, and maybe the foundational problem that we're having with our youth, is that they don't know what God says about it. And God says, guess what? It's fantastic, and just do it in marriage, and it's worth waiting for.
It is absolutely worth waiting for. I always loved in Genesis where it talks about Adam and Eve, how they were in the garden, they were naked and not ashamed.
And the Bible points it out. They were there, and they were both naked. It points it out.
Not ashamed. I mean, that always blows my mind, and that is a model for marriage, that we can have that kind of intimacy, that kind of openness with each other, that we can have that kind of transparency. That's what God intended our relationships to be like. And what has the world done? The world has gone and messed it all up. And then they packaged it and made it look like fun. That's like trying to, when every year at Halloween, everyone's always worried about going out trick-or-treating because there's going to be razors in the candy bar. Well, that's what the world has really done when it comes to sex. They put a razor in the candy bar, wrapped it up, and said, oh, yeah, it's great, go ahead and try it. And we don't even bother checking the package. And then we get hurt, and we're scarred for life, and we feel bummed about it, and we wish someone would have told you otherwise. Well, that's why we were here tonight, to tell you otherwise, that it is worth waiting for, that the candy is absolutely the best candy you will ever get a chance to taste when you go according to the manufacturer's plan for it. All right? And trying to enjoy it any other way, it's just going to ruin it. So don't do that. And, again, O2 Experience is going to be August 3rd if you want to hear more about that. And next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the dangers of when we give in to the so-called enjoyment that the world has planned for us, as we talk with Michael Leahy and Porn Nation. And it's a big problem. And we'll talk about some of the devastating effects. And, again, remind you that, you know what, God's plan is so much better than even anything you can find in porn. And, yeah, that might surprise some people. What? No way. It's a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar industry. Billions of dollars can't be wrong. Yeah, they can be. So thanks so much for Levi Lusko joining us, Jason Garcia. And as I said, switching things around a little bit tonight with tonight's scheduling. So we'll hear more from Levi right after Rawtalk is all wrapped up. Thanks for joining me tonight. Have a shway week in the Lord.